Alistair Cees Overeem is a Dutch-English mixed martial artist and kickboxer signed with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He is a former Strikeforce Heavyweight Champion, Dream Heavyweight Champion, K-1 World Grand Prix Champion, and is the only fighter to hold world titles in both MMA and K-1 kickboxing at the same time. As of February 3, 2014, he is number 6 in official UFC heavyweight rankings. Biography: Overeem was born on May 17, 1980 to a Dutch mother and Jamaican father. His parents divorced when he was 6 years old. His mother, Claire, then moved Alistair and his brother Valentin to the Netherlands, where he spent the remainder of his childhood. As a child, Overeem competed in judo, track and field and basketball. When he was 15, his brother Valentin took him to Chris Dolman's gym to teach him how to defend himself. At first he found the training overly violent and aggressive, but after training with Bas Rutten, Duke Castile and others, he eventually learned to enjoy it. Mixed martial arts career: Overeem had his first MMA professional fight at 19 years old, defeating Ricardo Fight by guillotine choke submission on October 24, 1999 or October 24, 1999, at its Showtime, the first event of the eponymously named promotion. Early MMA career: after posting a €10-3 record in rings, M1, its Showtime, and Too Hot to Handle, Overeem debuted in Pride Fighting Championships on July 20, 2002, defeating Yusuke Imamura by TKO in just 44 seconds. Pride FC: Overeem won 2 more fights in Pride before entering the 2003 Pride Middleweight Grand Prix at Pride Total Elimination 2003 and losing to future UFC Light Heavyweight Champion Chuck Liddell in the quarter-final match. Overeem rebounded to defeat Tomohiko Hashimoto at the Inoki Bombai 2003 in 36 seconds. On October 31, 2004, Overeem fought Hiromitsu Kanehara, defeating him by TKO partway through the second round at Pride 28. Overeem lost his next fight against Brazilian top-team fighter Antonio Roca @Rio Nogueira. In 2005, Overeem entered the Pride Middleweight Grand Prix at Pride Total Elimination 2005 where he defeated former UFC Light Heavyweight Champion Vitor Belfort, by submission, in the opening round. Overeem would move on to fight ๊oːvəreːm in the quarterfinals at Pride Critical Countdown 2005 taking under 2 minutes to win via submission. Overeem lost in the semi-finals to the eventual champion Mauricio Rua. In February 2006, Overeem fought Russian top-team favorite Sergey Kharitonov. Overeem won the fight, dislocating Kharitonov's shoulder in the process. With his win over Kharitonov, Overeem secured a spot in the Pride 2006 Openweight Grand Prix at Pride Total Elimination Absolute. He fought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist Fabricio Werdum, and lost via Kimura in the second round. Debut in Strikeforce: after his loss, Overeem traveled to San Jose, California to rematch Vitor Belfort at Strikeforce: Revenge. Overeem won the fight by decision in the evening's main event. Return to Pride: a month later Overeem returned to Pride for a highly anticipated rematch with Antonio Roca @Rio Nogueira. Overeem entered the fight with a heavily taped neck. After controlling the first round and a half with his striking, Overeem was stumbled from a punch. Nogueira followed with a flurry of strikes. Worried Overeem would be more severely injured, his corner threw in the towel. At Pride Final Conflict Absolute, he lost to Ricardo Arona. Overeem was on the receiving end of a leg kick that caused a non-serious injury to his nerves, causing him to lose feeling in his foot and leg. Unable to mount an offense or defend against Arona, Overeem tapped out to avoid further injury. He then suffered another KO loss to Mauricio Rua at Pride 33, but returned in June 2007 with a submission win over Michael Narup at K1 Grand Prix in Amsterdam. On September 17, 2007, at Heroes 10, middleweight tournament final Alistair faced Sergey Kharitonov again. Overeem showed solid movement as soon as the first round began, but he suffered a KO loss just before the end of the first round. Return to Strikeforce Dynamite: on November 16, 2007, Overeem defeated Paul Berntello for the vacant Strikeforce Heavyweight title by submission due to knee strikes. On June 15, 2008, Overeem won by KO in the first round against Lee Tai-yun at Dream 4. On July 21, 2008, Overeem defeated K-1 World Grand Prix 2001 champion Mark Hunt in the first round by submission at Dream 5. His next fight was against Mirko Filipovic at Dream 6 on September 23, 2008. After almost half of the first round, which saw Overeem taking down Filipovic multiple times and effectively striking from the top position, cutting his Croatian foe, the bout was stopped and declared a no contest due to Alistair landing multiple knees to the groin of Filipovic. Overeem was rumoured to make his first title defence against heavyweight Brett Rogers on June 6 at Strikeforce, Lawler vs Shields, however a hand injury scuttled plans for the fight. According to Golden Glory manager Baz Boone, Overeem had suffered a hand infection following a nightclub brawl early May 2009. According to Boone, Alistair and his brother Valentin, both heavyweights, had been involved in an altercation that left 5 security staff needing hospital treatment and nearly cost Alistair his hand. Overeem was scheduled to make his first Strikeforce Heavyweight Championship defense in a rematch against Fabricio Werdum at Strikeforce, Carano vs Cyborg, but had to pull out due to a hand injury, most likely caused from his nightclub brawl. Alistair defeated Tony Sylvester at Golden Glory's 10-year anniversary celebration with a standing guillotine choke. He used the same choke only 8 days later to submit James Thompson at Dream 12. Overeem has stated that he wants a rubber match with ʻoʊvəreːm, only this time in an MMA bout. Overeem was set to face Andrei Arlovski at Dynamite 2009, but FEG instead opted to have him face Kazuyuki Fujita to keep with the Dream vs Senok theme. Overeem quickly overpowered his opponent and recorded a knockout with a knee to the head. Overeem then faced Brett Rogers on May 15, 2010 at Strikeforce Heavy Artillery to defend his Strikeforce Heavyweight Championship. He won the fight via TKO in the first round. In his post-fight interview, Alistair Overeem declared for another time that he wants to fight Fedor Emelianenko, claiming that Fedor's management can no longer ignore his presence. The majority of Alistair Overeem's pre-fight training camp took place at the newly opened Golden Glory Gym in Pattaya, Thailand, where the Demolition Man concentrated on the further improvement of his Muay Thai skills. Overeem faced Todd Duffy on December 31, 2010 at Dynamite 2010. Overeem defeated Duffy by way of knockout 19 seconds into the first round to win the Dream Interim Heavyweight Championship. Overeem was later upgraded to Dream Heavyweight Champion. Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. In early 2011, Alistair Overeem was named as one of 8 men that will take part of the Strikeforce Heavyweight GP, alongside rivals Fabricio Werdum, Sergey Kharitonov, Brett Rogers, Josh Barnett, Andrei Arlovski, Antonio Silva and Fedor Emelianenko. A rematch with Fabricio Werdum took place on June 18, 2011, at Strikeforce, Dallas as part of an 8-man heavyweight tournament. Removal from GP Strikeforce. On July 17, it was announced Strikeforce Heavyweight Champion Alistair Overeem was removed from the promotion unregistered trademark S 2011 Heavyweight Grand Prix. Overeem went on to state that he felt the September date was too soon for him to return, and that he needed time to rest until after his June 18 quarter-final decision win over Fabricio Werdum. Overeem swapped out for unbeaten up-and-comer Daniel Cormier. Subsequently, on July 29, it was announced that Overeem had been released from the Strikeforce organization as Zuffa exercised their right to eliminate the one remaining fight on his contract. It was revealed that the reason behind Overeem's release from Strikeforce was not due to his unwillingness to participate in the GP semi-finals, but due to Golden Glory's policy requiring that the money fighters made through fights be paid through their management first. This disagreement led not only to Overeem's release but also other Golden Glory stars under a Zuffa contract, including former Strikeforce women's bantamweight champion Marlos Keenan, Norwegian UFC heavyweight John ʻoʊvəreːm, and even brother Valentin Overeem. Team Golden Glory leader Baz Boone stated he has since changed the policy, and that Alistair Overeem could come to the UFC under an exclusive deal, if the right terms are offered, which he now has. Ultimate Fighting Championship. After much speculation, on September 6, 2011, it was announced that Overeem had signed a contract with the UFC, and that his first fight would be against former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar on December 30, 2011 at UFC 141. The lead-up to the fight was rife with controversy. In November 2011, both competitors were required by the NSAC to comply with out-of-competition drug testing. Lesnar delivered his sample screen on November 21, while Overeem delivered his on November 23. The screen, however, did not meet the standards of the commission. Overeem submitted a second test through his personal physician, which was also deemed unacceptable, before flying out of the country. Overeem was ultimately given a conditional license for the fight by the committee during a meeting held on December 12, 2011. On December 30, 2011, at UFC 141, Overeem made his UFC debut in the main event against former heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar. During the match, Overeem targeted his midsection and was able to land several strikes before delivering a powerful liver kick that dropped Lesnar to his knee and left him prey to a barrage of punches, resulting in the referee stopping the fight and declaring Overeem the winner via TKO at 2:26 of the first round. The victory earned him a heavyweight title shot against champion Junior Dos Santos. Failed drug test. Overeem was scheduled to fight UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos on May 26, 2012 at UFC 146. However, on April 4, 2012, Overeem was revealed to have failed his pre-fight drug test by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Overeem had a 14:1 testosterone to testosterone ratio, over the allowed ratio rate of 6:1. On Friday, April 20, 2012, UFC President Dana White confirmed that Overeem has been removed from his fight with Dos Santos and replaced by Frank Mir. One day prior to his meeting with the NSAC, Overeem released a prepared statement to the media in which he claims the positive result of the drug test came as a result of a doctor-prescribed anti-inflammatory medication that was mixed with testosterone. Overeem's lawyer filed a continuation request for additional time to gather support for his recent claim, which was voted on by the NSAC on April 24, 2012. The request was denied and the NSAC voted unanimously to deny Overeem's application status for a period of 9 months, dating back to March 27, the day of his drug test. He may reapply after this time period in December 2012. Return. Overeem returned to face Antonio Silva on February 2, 2013 at UFC 156. Leading up to the fight, Overeem was dismissive of Silva's skills, claiming he was better than his opponent in every aspect of MMA. Despite being a heavy betting favorite and having won rounds 1 and 2, an overconfident Overeem lost to Silva by TKO in the third round. After the fight it was revealed that Overeem actually had lower than normal TE ratios. Overeem was expected to face former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos on May 25, 2013 at UFC 160. However, in early March, Overeem pulled out of the bout citing an injury and was replaced by Mark Hunt. For his third fight with the promotion, Overeem faced Travis Browne in the co-main event at UFC Fight Night 26 on August 17, 2013. Overeem was dominant early in the fight, attacking Browne with a flurry of knees and punches. Browne recovered and defeated Overeem by knockout via a front kick and punches. Overeem was scheduled to face Frank Mir on November 16, 2013 at UFC 167. However, the pairing was moved to February 1, 2014 at UFC 169. Overeem defeated Mir by unanimous decision and called out Brock Lesnar in his post-fight interview. Overeem injured his elbow and decided to take the time out to have surgery, expecting to return in September 2014. On July 9, the UFC announced he would be facing Ben Rothwell on September 5, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 50. Kickboxing career. Overeem had his first professional kickboxing fight at 17 years old, in a K-1 rules fight on November 15, 1997 or November 15, 1997. After that he fought against Paul Hordage, winning by decision on March 14, 1999 or March 14, 1999. Overeem then moved on to K1, having two K1 kickboxing fights in 6 years against Errol Paris and ๊oːvəreːm. Overeem was knocked out in both bouts and stayed with MMA from then on. He did not fight in K1 for 4 more years. On December 31, 2008, Overeem faced ๊oːvəreːm, one of K1's top contenders, under K1 rules. He defeated Hari by way of knockout in the first round. After that, he faced Remy Bonjasky, the defending K1 champion. Overeem came out aggressive in the first and second rounds, bullying Bonjasky and landing some impressive offense, but in the third was knocked down by a right hook from Bonjasky, who thereby secured a unanimous decision win. All 3 judges scored the bout 30-28. On September 26 at the K1 World Grand Prix 2009 Final 16, having been selected by fan voting after his impressive performances against Remy Bonjasky and ๊oːvəreːm, Overeem shocked the kickboxing world by achieving a huge upset. He defeated K1's longest-serving member, legendary 3-time champion Peter Aerts by unanimous decision. At the K1 World Grand Prix 2009 final, Overeem knocked out Kyokushin karate champion, ๊oʊvəreːm Teixeira with a knee strike in the first round, but lost to ๊oːvəreːm via TKO from a head kick in the semi-finals. At the K1 World Grand Prix 2010 in Yokohama, Overeem defeated Savad Pochurak via KO in round 1 at 2:40. Overeem defeated Ben Edwards by TKO in the first round on October 2, 2010 at K1 World Grand Prix 2010 Final 16. On December 11, at the Area Coliseum, Overeem fought at and won the K1 World Grand Prix 2010 final. In the quarterfinals, he beat Tyrone Spong by unanimous decision. In the semi-finals he came face-to-face with his teammate Gorkan Saki, who he defeated by first-round TKO due to injury, breaking Saki's right arm with a hard left kick. Saki's arm was already injured as a result of his previous fight with Daniel Gitter. In the finals, he fought Peter Aerts for the second time. Alistair came out aggressively and finished Peter in the first round. Personal life: Overeem has a daughter named Storm, born October 18, 2006. Legal issues: on January 1, 2012, following his match with Brock Lesnar at UFC 141, Overeem shoved a woman in the face, causing her to stagger back, at the Wynn Las Vegas at about 3 a.m., according to the Las Vegas Police Department. Not arrested but summoned to court, Overeem was charged with misdemeanor battery and faced a maximum of 6 months in the Clark County Detention Center and a fine up to $1,000. On March 28, 2012, Overeem was given a suspended 90-day county jail sentence plus 50 hours of community service in anger management, with the potential of the battery charge being dropped if the requirements are fulfilled. Championships and accomplishments: kickboxing, K1, K1 2009 World Grand Prix, K1 2010 World Grand Prix. Mixed martial arts, Strikeforce, Strikeforce Heavyweight Championship, 1 successful title defense. Pride Fighting Championships, 2005 Pride Middleweight Grand Prix semi-finalist. Dream Interim Heavyweight Championship. Too Hot to Handle, 2 hours Light Heavyweight Championship, 2 hours Light Heavyweight Tournament. World MMA Awards, 2010 International Fighter of the Year, 2011 International Fighter of the Year. Sherdog, 2010 All Violence Second Team. Submission Grappling, Abu Dhabi Combat Club, 2005 ADCC European Trials winner. Records: only fighter to consecutively hold 3 championship belts, one of only 2 fighters to win a world championship in MMA and K1, mixed martial arts record, kickboxing record. References. External links: official website, official UFC profile, professional MMA record for Alistair Overeem from Sherdog, personal life documentary, profile at Dream, profile at Pride.